Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and the update that came out to the PlayStation 4 version of Black Ops 3 this past weekend. We finally have the patch notes. We finally know exactly what was in that update, as well as they've also pushed through that update to the Xbox One, and it is now live on that platform, and it is going to be coming to the PC in roughly 1 week's time. The point of this update was they wanted to change around the assault rifles and the submachine guns for the most part. The quote that we got from David Vonderhaar was they wanted to normalize assault rifles and submachine guns, which led a lot of people, myself included, to believe they wanted to make it so assault rifles are better at doing assault rifle things and submachine guns will be better at doing submachine gun things. That's not quite what happened with this update. We're going to be going over that here in this video, as they have changed around 7 different weapons, 3 specialists, a bunch of multiplayer maps, 1 score streak, and 1 game mode. If you guys would like to go ahead and actually follow along, there's going to be a link at the very bottom of the video description, which will take you over to support.activision.com, where you guys can read the full patch notes for yourselves. Let's start things off here with the weapons. So the assault rifles were actually buffed, 4 of them in fact. The ICR-1, the HVK-30, and the Shiva have all gotten an increase to their long distance damage range, which will make it so those 3 assault rifles do better damage at long distances, which is gonna, in my mind anyway, make it so they're kind of like in line with light machine guns a little bit more. I don't know exactly how much damage they're talking here, but they're making it so once again the ICR-1, the HVK, and the Shiva do more damage at long distances. And the KN-44 was also buffed. They have increased its medium distance damage range, making it so it's going to be better at those medium distances, which in my opinion is kind of the sweet spot for the KN-44, because it's one of, if not my favorite weapon to use in Black Ops 3. So I'm happy about that, man. I'm happy to see a buff coming to the KN-44 and to assault rifles in general, because I like using assault rifles here in Black Ops 3. Submachine guns, on the other hand, they really didn't change around a lot. So the Vesper was actually nerfed. We all knew the Vesper was nerfed. They have increased its recoil by reducing its recoil stability. Therefore, it's going to kick a lot more. That's the whole point, guys. The Vesper now kicks a ton as compared to what it did previously. And they've also reduced its hipfire accuracy. Now, what this means, if you can picture how you hipfire in Call of Duty with your crosshairs are now going to be more spread apart. Therefore, it's going to be a lot less accurate while trying to hipfire with the Vesper. Therefore, you may be a little bit less successful while trying to spray and pray with that gun. So it got 2 nerfs in that respect, more recoil and less hipfire accuracy. The Weevil, now this is a very odd update in my opinion. The Weevil, they have increased its medium distance damage. Sounds awesome, right? In hardcore mode. How does that make sense? I don't know. They have made it so it's better at medium ranges in hardcore mode, but not in core apparently. Like, I didn't think the updates could be mutually exclusive that way. I figured they would be universal, and if you buff up the Weevil for hardcore, that would also buff it up for regular. That makes sense in my mind, but that's how they worded it here in this update. Increased medium distance damage range in hardcore mode. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all the changes to assault rifles and submachine guns. This is apparently what they meant by normalizing. They made it so essentially 4 different assault rifles do more damage at distances, and they made it so the Vesper kicks a lot more and is less accurate, and the Weevil is better than hardcore. That's apparently what they did with this update, as was the Locust. I should also point out the Locust sniper rifle got a bit of a buff. They have increased its weapon switch speed, which will make it so you can swap to your secondary a little bit faster, which is going to annoy a lot of snipers, I'm sure, because I'm well aware of this. Even though I haven't been a sniper since, gosh, like 2009 or something like that. I used to snipe quite a bit, but I gave that up many, many years ago. And there's always kind of like this universal kind of like unspoken agreement amongst quickscopers and amongst snipers, where if you're in a quickscope battle, you don't pull out your pistol. Everybody knows that, you know, but apparently they made it so you can pull out your pistol a little bit faster, so chances are you may see more people doing that. In terms of score streaks, they actually changed around 1 score streak. They changed around the power core, and they gave it a bit of a buff, actually. So they reduced its cost to 1,250 points, therefore it's going to be a little bit easier to acquire. They have increased its duration to 60 seconds, so it will now be out for a full minute. They've also fixed a bug where apparently it would occasionally fail to destroy an enemy counter UAV. I don't know too much about that, but they've fixed that bug as well. So the power core has gotten a little bit better. They're kind of saying, hey, this is a good score streak. Maybe it costs a little bit too much. Let's make it cost a little bit less and make it so it lasts a little bit longer to kind of incentivize more people to use it. Because it's definitely a unique score streak. It's a placeable EMP essentially, and I actually don't see it a whole lot. So I think it's kind of cool that they're actually making it so more people may want to actually try to use it. Next up, let's talk about the specialists. They've actually changed around 3 specialists. They changed around the Outrider, the Nomad, and the Prophet, and they made them a little bit better. All of them actually received a buff. So the Sparrow ability for the Outrider, the bow, they have increased its ability to hit enemies. Now what that says to me is they made it so auto aim locks on a little bit easier, so you don't have to aim nearly as precisely. It's going to make it so it's a little bit easier to use. The Tempest ability, the lightning gun essentially for the Prophet, they have increased its ability to hit enemies. Now what that says to me once again is they made it so the auto aim is a little bit stronger while using that weapon. And the rejack ability for Nomad, they have increased the remaining specialist power when player terminates rejack. So therefore, if you terminate your rejack ability, you're going to kind of spawn back in with more specialist power than you did previously. If you guys noticed, like, they nerfed rejack heavily at the launch of the game, and ever since then, seemingly with every update, they make rejack a little bit better. But still, in my opinion, he's still terrible, which is good because in my opinion, he was way overpowered in the beta, and I'm glad to see him so heavily nerfed here in the live version of the game. The rest of the update is going to be various bug fixes and changes to some of the multiplayer maps, and one change to uplink. So to cover on the uplink change first, they have removed aim assist while carrying the satellite drone. You will no longer like auto aim and auto lock onto people if you're trying to melee while using a satellite drone. And for the multiplayer maps, they've essentially fixed a number of exploits. Like for example, with the Awakening DLC, the map Splash had a number of exploits, which was a real shame because it's definitely my favorite map of the DLC, but they fixed a number of the exploits that people could do on that map, and that's good because it's going to make it so the map is definitely a lot more playable. The map Gauntlet for the Awakening DLC, they've also fixed a bunch of exploits on that map. They fixed some exploits on Stronghold. They've done that for a number of maps, but the big change I feel as though that's kind of odd about this, and I want to end off the video essentially on this note. On the map Breach, they have swapped the first and third hardpoint zones in the rotation. How does that make any sense? Why would they do that? Now, I'm not a hardpoint player, so let me know in the comments. If was there like an imbalance competitively? Was it not fair with how the spawns were set up, or what? Because they essentially took the first hardpoint. Like if you spawn in on Breach to play some hardpoint, you know where the hardpoint typically is when you first start playing, it's no longer there. It's actually a different one. Really odd. I don't think we've ever actually seen anything like that in Call of Duty before. That's like taking domination flags, for example, and swapping them or making them move to different places, which I think actually would be kind of cool. Like, what if they were to randomly just change the domination flag point? Like, for example, on Stronghold, what if instead of outside of the building, the B flag was in the building, in the living room? You know, what if they were just to change that temporarily, just to see how it changed the map and how it changed the way people play the game? That would be interesting. I would like actually to see some changes like that. So, once again, on the map Breach, they have swapped the first and the third hardpoint zones in rotation. And ladies and gentlemen, that is essentially the long and the short of this update. They've changed around a number of things, and I covered most of them here in this video. But once again, if you guys would like to read the full patch notes, there's going to be a link down there at the very bottom of the video description, which will take you over to support.activision.com, where you guys can read the official patch notes in their entirety for yourselves. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I hope you guys all found it helpful and informative, and let me know in the comment section below what changes would you still like to see happen to Black Ops 3. Now, this is the example I give all the time. I am still holding out for this. I would love to see the KRM-262 and the Argus be better weapons in general. I want them to be more consistent shotguns. I want them to be kind of in line with the KSG and the R870 from Black Ops 2. I would like to see both of those shotguns get buffed up to that status. That's what I would personally like to see. I know people have varying opinions on that, but that's what I would like to see. What would you guys like to see? Let me know about that in the comment section below. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Once again, drop me a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.